And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, we are going to talk about Caitlin Clark's debut. Just had to adjust the title for a little bit. And I'm very surprised by the sort of results of this game. And I'm actually very surprised with the performance that Caitlin had in this game. Let me just go ahead and adjust the image real quick so that way it's centered. It's really difficult to have these centered before the meeting, so I apologize for that. Those of you on the audio side, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but so this debut game, it was very underwhelming. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. She played terribly. She was very bad in this game. Caitlin Clark played poorly. She shot 5 for 15 from the field, and she set a WNBA record for the most turnovers in a debut game with 10. And that's really, really bad. That's not a good record to set in your first WNBA game or in any kind of basketball game whatsoever. That is a very, very bad game. It was very bad, and it was clear that she was struggling in this game against the Connecticut Sun and their defense. Like the Suns' defense was considered to be one of the best defenses in the previous year. So it's really not shocking at the fact that they were able to play really good defense. And Caitlin was even more shocked as well. This was a very bad game from her. She was incredibly rattled, and the women that were guarding her, they flashed double teams on her. They checked her up. They were staying in her face, making everything just that much difficult against Caitlin. And I feel like Caitlin was sort of taken aback by the defense in this game and the defense that she was forced to deal with. And that's okay. Like, that's normal. You expect this to happen to a rookie because, like, you still have to adjust. And you still have to understand how the game is played in the WNBA or in the big leagues. That's what we're going to call it. You still have to sort of understand how the big leagues work. And given that it's your first time in the big leagues, obviously you're going to struggle. This was the exact same thing that happened with Victor Wembanyama and his debut as a rookie. Everybody was so quick to write him off as a bust due to one bad performance or like a couple of bad performances that he had in the beginning of the season. And here he is winning unanimous Rookie of the Year. And this happens to a lot of rookies in the NBA. They start out rather slow because they have to adjust to the NBA and the fact that all of these players are great, and you're not just going up against college students now, you're going up against the best of the best athletes in the sport. And it takes time to adjust, especially Caitlin's situation, because she got drafted and now she's expected to handle the offense. She's expected to be the catalyst for the Indiana Fever and drive them to greatness. That is a lot of pressure to be put on a rookie that just got drafted. A lot of pressure to be put on a rookie. And like all that pressure, it's going to affect her in the beginning of the season and the beginning of the first few games because that pressure is going to affect everybody. And you're not going to be there's nobody in the league anymore that's going to be boom, just as good the minute they set foot on the court. No one is going to immediately be Hall of Fame caliber. No one is LeBron James. Like, LeBron in his debut scored 25 points, and that's why I say, like, no one is going to be LeBron James in the debut of the NBA. Even Michael Jordan, he only had, like, 16 points as a rookie in the very first game that he played. And, like, it just takes time for a lot of these rookies to adjust. So while I am saying that she played very poorly, I don't think she's a bust. Like, I'm just telling you I'm just telling you guys how it is. And it's like, there's no other way to say it other than she played poorly. And some people are probably going to like bubble wrap her and just say she played pretty well. It was a pretty good game, this, that, and the other. No, it wasn't a good game. Going 5 for 15 from the field and having 10 turnovers is not a good game. And yes, she did score 20 points, but that's still not a good game. 20 points on 15 shots is not a good game whatsoever. Like, especially with the 10 turnovers, you can't have 10 turnovers and only have 20 points. That's just not ideal, like, whatsoever. Because you're giving the other team more possessions than you are scoring on the side of the ball. So it's like nothing is canceling out there. You're only doing harm for your team with all of those turnovers. And again, it's really difficult to adjust from college to the WNBA in the big leagues. A lot of women have said this before. I didn't expect her to come out dominating every single woman in the sport, obviously, because that's just ridiculous. But I also didn't really expect her to play this badly with all the turnovers that she got. But this might be like a wake-up call that she needed, because like, okay, now I'm in the big leagues. There's so much pressure on me. There's like a target on my back with all these WNBA teams looking down on me. I need to fix that. That's sort of what this game was. It was a wake-up call, and nothing more to it, nothing less to it. The game wasn't really that close at all, and the fourth quarter was really the deciding factor of this game, where the Fever got outscored 27-14. And again, with all of this in mind, it just falls on to Caitlyn, and Caitlyn was the big reason why they lost this game. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because this is how you get better. This is how players get better, and this is how we as people get better. You have to fail, and you have to hear the criticism that you did fail. So that way you can learn from the criticism, and not only that, you can learn from your failure to ensure that that doesn't happen again. The greatest teacher is failure, and you're not going to get anywhere if you haven't failed. So this is normal, and that's okay. The fact that she played bad. She just needs to learn how to roll with those punches and deal with it. It's plain and simple. And this is what a lot of NBA players have to go through as well. So she's sort of getting that exact same treatment from the media. So it's showing the shift in attention towards women's sports and women's basketball now that it's being marketed a lot more and a lot easier. But again, you're not going to get anywhere in the WNBA, and you're not going to get anywhere in life if you don't fail at least a couple of times. And that's okay. We're human. That's the point. We're supposed to fail. It's how we respond to the failure that makes us different from everyone else. Because she could respond to this two different ways. One, oh, this is too hard, I'm going to give up, and just this, that, and the other. Or, I played really badly in this game. I had 10 turnovers. I got to clean that up. I got to fix it. I got to go into the film room, see what I did wrong, and work on my game, work on my shot, try to get better. This is what failure does. And I have a feeling that she's going to use the latter, the second option, the second thing that I just said, to get better. Unlike certain NBA players that I just absolutely despise, who don't want to change their game and don't want to get better whatsoever and want to continue stealing money from organizations and coming off the bench. Ben Simmons. But with that out of the way, we are out of time with this third segment. So now I will go ahead and go into the fourth segment, where I talk about Swaggy P. In case you guys have no idea who that is, that's Nick Young's nickname. I'm going to talk about Swaggy P's opinion on the Lakers and why they lost in the series against the Denver Nuggets in the first round. So I will be right back after this short break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.